And on Tuesday, MBS were down almost a quarter point really early, mostly from the European hours as the European Central Bank made comments about the economy needing to slow down. This accelerated on the U.S. Open, mostly gains taking from the last 2 days of gains plus strategy prior to Powell's speech and the CPI coming on Thursday. NFIB index dropped in December to 89.8, below all of the estimates. The National Federation of Independent Businesses overall business optimism index dropped to the second lowest level in nearly a decade. Inflation continues to be the most important issue. Despite the overall gloom, there were some positive points in the survey. Inventories are back in balance, which means supply chain issues in the post-pandemic period are largely in their rearview mirror. December job growth was 223,000, the weakest reading since December of 2020, and wage growth pressure is clearly waiting, but we have a long way to go. The unemployment rate is at a 50-year low. Job growth is roughly double the sustainable pace. Labor force participation rate is essentially flat, job quits increased, and the underemployment rate set a new low. Rates go up by 25 basis points, maybe 50 basis points on February 1st. Minneapolis, Fed President Neil Kashkari wrote an article on inflation which discusses what the Fed missed in 2021 and lays out what might be his plan going forward. His point is that when prices rise, both supply and demand should adjust. Rising prices should decrease demand and increase supply. The problem is that supply hasn't increased. He likens it to surge pricing on ride-sharing apps. When it rains, more people would rather ride than walk. Prices rise. However, what happens when every available driver is already working? Supply doesn't increase, and that is where we are now. In economic terms, the supply curve is vertical. Increased demand just increases price. At the end of the day, we were down 20 basis points on the MBS, which put us right around that 25-day moving average. So we're pretty much right on that. And looking at all of these technicals converging, like I said, it is a very tight range. So hopefully that will keep things stable for a while so we can have a little bit of normality. A massive mortgage credit report price hike is expected in 2023, according to a letter from the National Consumer Reporting Agency, NCRA. So Rocket and UWM are jockeying with initiatives to help brokers shield from these increases. Fair Isaac Company has grouped mortgage lenders into 3 tiers, according to a memo to lenders in November, with a wholesale price increase of less than 10% for the top tier, which is about 46 of them, about 200% for approximately 6 lenders in the middle tier. That's 6 and 6? That's just a weird number. And more than 400% increase for all other mortgage lenders. So in response, Rocket Pro TPO, the wholesale arm of Rocket Mortgage, is providing credit reports at no cost to brokers when closing loans through the Detroit lender. Rocket's competitor UWM recently announced a flat rate of $37.35 that they're going to sell mortgage or credit reports to brokers for, although there is some controversy that they may not be able to pull that off because Fair Isaac might say, hey, Credco, we did not give you permission to be a reseller of this stuff, so take it back. So that one can bounce. We also got a post from our sponsor, WellThatMakesSense.com. Hopefully you got your goals set for the year, because now we're going to talk about how to make it happen. The best book for coming up with a format for making things happen and getting things done is Traction by Gino Wickman. So we have a 9-part series coming that's going to show you how to set up a format to get what you want done in 2023 and get it all done. The other thing that's probably coming is I've gotten messages in the last 10 minutes and I'm waiting for a confirmation text. It hasn't come yet, but word on the street is that Wells Fargo might be exiting correspondent lending business. This is a pretty big thing, although they haven't been a big player lately. They announced earlier this year they're going to scale back mortgage operations. However, after the crash and subsequent years thereafter, they were a big part of helping stabilize things for independent mortgage bankers, and they've been a giant purchaser of loans over the years. So there will be some ripples from that if that is the case.